Welcome to This Place. Each week, we ask Oregonians about the places that matter to them, where they live, where they work, and where they find meaning and joy. This week, we hear from David Harrelson at his tea garden in Dundee.
We are at Dundee Hills Tea Garden in Dundee, Oregon, which is located in the Red Hills in the Willamette Valley, which is in the northwestern part of Oregon. I came to have a tea garden 10 years ago. My wife and I went on an anniversary trip to Vancouver Island, where we learned there was a tea garden called Westholme, and we visited that tea garden and said, surely if they can grow tea in Canada, we could grow tea in the Willamette Valley. And so we started to look for land, and we went through that struggle like a lot of people who want to grow things. And we looked long and hard for about 4 years with offers in on multiple properties and never winning a bid. And then the property next door to our house came up for sale, and it had a really big backyard, and we had a small child that was just born, and the prospect of taking care of acres of land seemed daunting. And we said, well, maybe we should just try to do a test plot and see if it actually works before we try to go big. And so with that dream, we purchased the house next door to ours, and we cleared the land, and we had already started growing seeds about 9 months earlier. We knew that we were going to plant tea plants somewhere, and we had started 1,000 tea plants from seed. I am indigenous to the Willamette Valley. My ancestors are Kalapuya. I've called Dundee home since 2013, but my ancestors, the Kalapuya, have called the Willamette Valley home for over 500 generations. Our people have memories of the Missoula floods that happened between 13 and 18,000 years ago. And I'm living in Dundee today, raising a family, raising another generation of Kalapuya people. This place is special for many different reasons. It was one of the first places where people first settled in Oregon. Dún means fort, and Dee means fire in the Gaelic language. And when settlers first settled here, they saw the red soils, the red clay soils, and they named it Fort Fire, the Red Hills of Dundee. And I think that that's pretty special and interesting. But the Red Hills themselves are so important because of these clay red volcanic soils known as Jory soils. And they are primarily what's responsible for Oregon Pinot Noir being known throughout the world as exceptional wine. The town of Dundee is surrounded by vineyards, and there's this magical time in June for about 2 weeks when all of the flowers are blooming to make grapes. And during that time, you can actually noticeably smell the fragrance of the Pinot blossoms. And it's a very unique smell that there's only a very finite period of time. My favorite time really has to do with time of day, and it has to do with fall and spring sunrises over the Cascades. Because Dundee on the hill looks out towards the Cascades, you have a beautiful way to watch the sunrise, and the sunrises are incredibly magnificent. And that just leaves me in awe.
That was David Harrelson in Dundee. This Place is produced by Oregon Humanities and edited by John Richardson. To hear more stories from This Place, visit OregonHumanities.org or subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.